How's it going, my evil residents? Today we're going to take a look at all of these psychopaths slash boss fights in Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, and we're going to rank them worst to best, mostly based on how fun they are, cool and engaging they are. Obviously, if I rank them objectively by like what they give you, the list would be completely different, but it's pretty clear when what they give you is good or bad. Some boss fights just don't give you anything, which is kind of lame, but anyways, we're just going to rank them basically off of how interesting the characters are that you fight. So yeah, I won't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into the video, and keep in mind this is my subjective list. Feel free to share yours in the comments as well. In 14th place, we have the Convicts. These guys spawn in the middle grassy area and kind of take over a Jeep with a giant machine gun on the back. Honestly, if the AI in this game wasn't so jank, these guys would be absolutely miserable to fight. But thankfully, since you get access to some ranged weapons early on in the game, and their AI just kind of sucks, they're not that bad to fight. That said, they don't have too much personality. It's weird that they respawn so often. I don't understand that, because you kill them and they just come back. They're just immortal, I guess, which is cool, I suppose. But overall, I just don't think they're that interesting. Their intro cutscene is kind of neat, but I'm more interested in literally any of the other bosses. They all have much more character.
I can blow his head off clean from here. Can I take a shot, Dad?
Getting a headshot from here is no big deal, Jack.
In 13th place, we have the Hall family, otherwise known as the Sniper family. These three are a very easy boss, but I think they're all like funny characters. I do think their boss fight is a little tedious though, with just like running after them while they run away from you. Hit them, they keep running, hit them. Obviously you can cheese it with a gun, but if you go into this unprepared, it's just annoying. It's not hard. It's mostly just kind of an annoying boss. It is a little bit sad as well, because their dialogue after you kill the dad, the children are like, no, please stop. And overall, it's just sad, but they still attack you, so you do have to fight them. It's a good way to get some snipers without having to go all the way to the North Plaza, so I guess there's that.
Stay back! I trust those damn zombies about as far as I can throw them, but I trust people even less.
In 12th place, we have Cletus Samson, otherwise known as the guy that holds up in the gun shop. This boss fight, once you understand that his throw attack only does 1 damage, you can absolutely decimate this boss fight. But if you go in unprepared and get thrown by him once and are like, oh god, I can't get close to him, and you don't have any guns, it's really punishing if you're not aware of the mechanics of the boss. I think a lot of them in this are like that, but this is kind of the one that is most annoying about it, because it's like hitting your head against the wall until he just dies, which is, it's just not that fun of a boss fight, I don't think. Just running up to him, hitting him, waiting for the slow animation of him throwing you, hitting him, waiting for the slow animation of him throwing you. And then he doesn't really give you that cool of a weapon. Like, you can get handguns and shotguns in other places of the game. This is the most convenient place for shotguns though, I will admit that. And then there's also snipers in here, but snipers just aren't that great, at least in my opinion, unless you're like outside, but you don't really need them outside. So the gun shop, for one, is kind of an overrated location, I'm gonna say. You don't really need the gun shop. And second, boss fight's just not that interesting, so it ranks down here at number 12.
A customer!
In 11th place, we have Larry Chiang, which is the butcher that you fight right at the end of the game. I do really like this boss, and I think it's really fun. It really suffers from the fact that it's right at the end of the game, before like the last 2 cases, I think. The last like 2 parts of the last case. It really sucks that you fight him so late in the game with how cool of a character he is. It feels like he was just kind of shoehorned in at the end there because they didn't know where to put him. And he gives you such a cool weapon, and you don't really get to use it that much unless you keep it for overtime mode or you get it in infinity mode. He has a really great weapon that you never get to use, and I think that knocks him down a lot because, yeah, while he gives you one of the best rewards in the game, you don't get to use it at all. And it really sucks. It's really lame. So despite him being a cool character and really creepy, he was in 11th place.
Humanity has proven itself to be quite adept at making mistakes.
In 10th place, we have the final boss of the game, Brock Mason, otherwise, the army tank guy. I he just kind of comes off as, oh fuck, we need an antagonist for overtime mode, and Frank already killed all the psychopaths. What do we do? He feels very thrown in at the last minute, especially since he only spawns in after you've done all the other cases. I feel like if there was a point in the game where he was either teased early or had some sort of appearance, he would be a lot better as a villain. He very much shows up to spew the themes of the game and then die, which is fine, but I feel like he could have been a little more. Like, there's potential there for, like, if they make, like, a prequel game or something about Carlito, for him to be a really cool villain, but as is, I don't think he lands super well, but he is a good character. He's just super underbaked. So he goes in 10th place.
What have we here? Looks like you lured another man in here, you little whore.
In 9th place, we have Joe Slade, who is the cop that kidnaps all the girls in that one store. This boss fight, I ranked it kind of low, because if you're a new player, there's no shot that you are getting all of them out of there alive. There's no way. But then, once you understand the mechanics of the boss fight, it's so freaking easy. This is the easiest boss in the game. Not even close. Because once you understand that she aggroes onto you and only goes after them after she tases you, it's just super easy. Because you can just abuse that and lead her away from all of the people she has tied up. And you can save all of them really easily. And she doesn't have that much health, so you can just nuke her. So she's not too engaging either way. She's either frustrating as hell or stupidly easy, and I just would have appreciated some kind of middle ground with that, like make her walk a little bit faster so there's a little more urgency when you get tased. But other than that, she goes in 9th place because it's too punishing for new players and too easy for players that are replaying the game.
Who's there? Stay back!
In 8th place, we have Paul Carson, who is the Molotov cocktail guy that sets himself on fire. The reason I ranked him so high, despite him having kind of frustrating boss, is that he's one of the only psychopaths in the whole game you can actually save, and you can bring him back and save him as a survivor, which I think that's really cool. And I really wish there was like a couple more of those throughout this game, because as I said, it's a great concept. And the fact that he realizes and kind of wakes up, he's like, oh shit, I'm losing my mind. I'm sorry. I'm a horrible person. I made a severe and continuous lapse in judgment. And also, if you save him, he gives you an infinite supply of Molotovs for the remainder of 72-hour mode, which is so cool. The Molotovs aren't a great weapon, but they're really fun to use. So I think that's awesome. If his actual boss fight was better, he would go higher, but because it's not, I can't put him up anymore.
The end of the world is upon us.
In 7th place, we have Sha Keenan, the cultist. This guy has a really fun boss fight. I love his boss fight, but the sword that you get, I don't like the ground pound attack with it. I know it's good, but it frustrates me so much that I can't use the kick while I have the sword that he drops. I love the kick. I'm a kicking fan. I'm a big kicking enthusiast, if you will, and I can't kick with his weapon. And I know that's a petty reason to rank him low. I'm fully aware of that. But yeah, he drops a weapon that I really actively dislike. I would literally rather just not have the weapon than to have only that weapon. He's a cool boss, and he's really intimidating, and he's really creepy, and the way he goes out is really funny and cool and really fucked up. But I know I'm putting too much weight into the fact that I don't like his weapon, but I literally cannot get over it. So he goes in 7th place.
Okay. This is my most violent shot.
In 6th place, this might be a little controversial. I'm not totally sure how well this one's going to land, but we have Kent Swanson, the other photojournalist guy with the vest, in 6th place. First off, getting to his boss fight is honestly just a pain, because you have to do the photo challenges and stuff, and it's super time consuming, and it takes a lot of commitment from the player, which, depending what you like, that's cool. I think it's a cool idea, but either the photo challenges there needed to be more of them for it to be a bigger presence in the game, or they needed to just not be there, because there's only 2 of them throughout this 8-hour game, and you forget about them. Like, they're an afterthought, and if you remember last minute, there's a chance you just won't be able to get them, which is really lame. And I'm not a super big fan of that. That like middle ground thing they played, either remove the photo challenges or add like 2 or 3 more of them. At least 1 photo challenge per day. It's just, I don't think it lands super well the way that you get to his boss fight. His actual boss fight though was fun, and he is a neat character, and it really shows how much Frank grows as a person throughout the end of the game, because Kent very much goes the evil way, Frank goes the good way. And it's really cool. It's a really interesting dynamic between the two, but just the way his quest is structured is kind of annoying, and then Kent is just annoying as fuck. Which I understand that that's the point of the character, but it doesn't make me like him more. It just makes me just still find him annoying. So while he is great, he just has a couple of flaws that knock him down out of the top 5, so he goes in 6th place. In 5th place, I have Stephen Chapman, the grocery store manager. This guy is, I think he's honestly my personal favorite, but I wanted to get some sort of subjectivity in here with actually how good of characters the top ones above this are. So I couldn't, with conscience, rank him above 5th, just while he is funny and just him absolutely losing it and just shouting, "This is my store!" So good. Lives in my head rent free, honestly. I love it. He doesn't have a super great reward. Yeah, it's good. Okay, it is good, but it's not a weapon that I can just carry with me all the time. And that's really annoying. That's really annoying. And yeah, it's good to like run around in the North Plaza with, but it's eh. I do like his boss fight though. It's a really fun boss fight. I think it's one of the most engaging ones. For new players, it's like, oh god, what do I do? And for more experienced players, you know exactly how to fight him, but it still takes some active gameplay to know how to fight him because he's always moving. He's always moving. So overall, this guy is just iconic. When I think of a Dead Rising psychopath, most of the time, I either think of this guy or one other one, but Steven is awesome. I like him a lot.
Almost as if everyone's already dead.
In 4th place, we have the main antagonist of the game, Carlito. Why is he at 4th? Honestly, it's just because he's underdeveloped. We could have used either another one-on-one conversation in the middle of the game with Carlito and Frank, or just don't shove all of his development right up until the end of the game. It really does him a disservice, especially if on your first few playthroughs you don't get to all the cases. You do not get attached to this guy at all. You're just like, why does Isabella care about this guy? He's not sympathetic at all. They shove all of it down right into the end of the game, and it does him a huge disservice as a character. I understand he's the main antagonist and they want you to dislike him, but even with making him a sympathetic villain, you still dislike him because he's a terrorist. So I kind of understand why they did it, but also it doesn't land how they thought it did, I think. Obviously, I can't just assume developer and writer intentions, but I just really wish he had more development throughout the rest of the game that wasn't just Isabella telling you stuff about him. I wish we just got to talk to him more through the regular part of the game. And yeah, that's why he goes in 4th place. He's just a little underbaked, despite the fact that you fight him like 3 times.
Name and rank, soldier!
In 3rd place, we have Cliff Hudson, aka the war vet that takes over the hardware store. This guy, honestly, might be the saddest psychopath in the entire game. I'm not even kidding. His cutscene is honestly a tearjerker. It is so sad because once you beat him, you knock him out of his psychopathy like you did with Paul Carson, the arsonist guy, except you can't save him. You cannot save him, and that is so tragic. I really wish that there was like some kind of path where you could save him as a survivor. It would be really cool, and I think it would be neat as just like an alternate ending or like Easter egg type of thing. I understand why they didn't, because, you know, he kidnapped literally like 3 people, I think. And I'm not even going to mention the censoring part with him not saying Kami in the remaster, because who cares? I know some people care, but I don't care that much. I think his character still lands really well with how the scene is in the remaster, so I think he's fine. I think he's still really good, one of the most memorable psychopaths. He is missable, but despite that, he's still memorable, despite the fact that you may not experience him your first or second time, and that honestly makes him more unique. The fact that he is so missable, he's so out of the way. So yeah, Cliff Hudson definitely gets 3rd place. He's really awesome, and he's really tragic.
Stay
In second place, we have Adam McIntyre, aka the clown guy with the mini chainsaw. He gets second place alone for the fact that he gives you the mini chainsaw, like the best weapon in the game. But also, this guy, technically, yes, he was insane, but he was trying to be good. He was trying to save people from the zombies by keeping them on the roller coaster and away from the zombies. And he was trying to entertain the people that were on the roller coaster the only way he knew how, because he was a clown. Obviously, he lost his mind, but he was trying to be good, and it makes it all the more sad that he just wasn't helping, and Frank had to kill him, and it's really sad. And honestly, he might be more sad indirectly than Cliff Hudson, but I just think there's so many layers to this guy that you could just peel back to like understand what he was doing, and the game just kind of glosses over it, which I think makes it more sad because Frank just views him as another crazy guy, but he genuinely was trying to help in his own like sick way, and that's so fascinating. So that's why he goes in second place. Also, he's creepy as hell. In first place, and no, it's not just because she's hot, it's Isabella Keys. I know having her on here is maybe a little weird since she's not technically a psychopath, but she does have a boss fight, so it felt weird leaving out one boss fight for this list. And also, she's one of the most developed characters in the game, and her change from distrust to trust, but still also keeping Frank at arm's length up until overtime mode, where they really have to work together to get out and stop her brother because she realizes how far gone he was. Really good character development, really interesting. She has a lot of agency in the story, despite the fact that she starts out as like a damsel in distress type character where you have to go find her and save her. She develops a lot of agency and just her own motives for doing things. Her and Frank work together not because they have necessarily the same goal. Yeah, they both want to stop Carlito, but Frank wants to, like, you know, permanently stop Carlito, whereas Isabella thinks she could save him, she can stop him from doing what he's doing, or maybe reverse things before it's too late. Then she realizes how far gone he is, and she's like, oh, we actually do need to just straight up stop him. And then they work together closely to get out of there, and Frank realizes that smart she is and stuff like that. It's really cool, really great character development between both of them, really great bonding. They help each other become better people, and I think that's really interesting to see play out, especially in overtime mode, where both need each other to get out of the area, because Isabella would be screwed without Frank, and Frank would be screwed without Isabella. So honestly, overall, just an incredibly written character that you wouldn't expect to be such a good character from the beginning, because they just kind of treat her as they just kind of treat her like right from the beginning with an eye candy shot, and it's like, okay. But no, she's actually just a really good character, and it's kind of surprising. At least I thought it was surprising the first time I played this game. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. If you liked it, drop a like. If you disliked it, feel free to dislike it, but let me know why in the comments. We do have a Discord if you'd like to chat with me or other residents of the channel, and we do have channel memberships if you are so inclined, but obviously no pressure. They start at 99 cents a month, so if you want to buy me a gumball, that's the way to do it. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Stay evil, my residents.